What's going on, guys? So I have a little tech tip for you. So it's not even a tip, it's more of this happened to me, so I'm going to share it. So I have on my bow the IQ Bowsight, right? Let me show it. You see I'm shooting my backyard. So this is the sight. In the sight there's that green dot. Okay, so what that does is allows you, when you're drawn back, to pinpoint your anchor every time. It's kind of like a rifle scope in a way. So you have to line that black dot up with the center to the center of the green dot, and that green dot can be adjusted in and out, up and down. Now, what happened to me was I bought this new quiver, the tight spot, and I shoot my bow at Archery World with my wife. We're shooting fine, and then I noticed my quiver had rotated, so I moved it back and then tightened up the screws. And what happened was, somehow that just amount of torsion on there caused that dot to move. And so when it did that, I kind of got nervous because I was like, what am I doing wrong? And granted, we were shooting indoors, so we had to have a mask, and when I shoot with a mask, I actually shoot left, and so I thought maybe it was just me, so I shot a few rounds, and it didn't seem to help or whatever where I was anchoring, so I was like, well, something's wrong. So what I did was I took those bolts, I loosened them back up, and I noticed that green dot moved again. And I was like, okay, so maybe it has something to do with how tight I got them. So then I adjusted my anchor dot, or whatever you want to call it. I'll try to find the terminology for it. The anchor spot dot is what I'll call it. I moved it over, shot a couple rounds, it was fine, put my quiver back on, and it was off again. And I was like, man, it's pretty frustrating. I just bought this quiver like 2-3 weeks ago. I've shot with it twice now, and it's like you get something new, you put it on your bow, and then something changes, and you all these doubts come in your head, like, is it me, is it the bow, is it the sight, is it the rest? So I was trying to go over all that and analyze it and make sure nothing else changed. And so as far as I could tell, the rest was good. The sight was tight, didn't seem to be moving, so I just didn't understand it. So what I did after that was I left the quiver back off, shot a couple arrows, and it was fine. I readjusted it, shot a couple more arrows, and it was fine. And then it was my third round, on my second shot, the dot moved again. And I was like, well, maybe the sight's bad. I have had it for like 3 years, so it's possible. But what I did was, I was like, well, if that dot's moving around, I'll just try to do my best at keeping my same anchor as kind of like I used to do before I got this bow sight. And so today I came back, put my targets out in the backyard, and I actually moved the rest from the front 2 bolts of the sight to the back 2, closer to the cables and strings, and just slid the adjustment all the way over forward, so that the quiver is still centered on the bow as much as possible. And once I did that, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go shoot. The funny thing is I go shoot first thing today after work. First 2 shots, or 3 shots, because I'm shooting 3 arrows, great, on the money. Second 3 shots, great, on the money. So I was like, okay. And I wasn't paying attention to that green dot. I noticed it was off, but not that far off. And I was like, well, okay, everything should be good. So the last thing I did was drew back, put my anchor where I normally have it, like I just felt where it's supposed to be, looked at the dot, and it actually was off the opposite direction I moved it. So just for reference, I had to move it down and right yesterday. So today, I had to move it back up and left. And I think that's because of the way that quiver mounted. And so what I'm getting at is, sorry to make this a long story, but what I'm getting at is, for one, always try to make adjustments to your bows like that, like measure way before season, because now we're in almost mid-July, or we are mid-July, and I had this happen, so I was freaking out. And two is, when you have something like that happen, it's actually probably better. I did it the wrong way, and I started adjusting that green dot to match my anchor again, when I should have just took everything off, back the way I had it, and then seen if it shot fine. Now I know, so basically what I did to finalize it is I threw all my arrows in it, threw the quiver back on, right where I'm going to have it. I'm actually not going to take it off, because it has a quick release. And then I shot a few arrows, and I had to make real minor adjustments to get that green dot back to where it was. And like I said, what that green dot does for that IQ Bowsight is, when you're on back, you get your anchor spot, and it's kind of like a rifle scope. You line it up, the black dot to the center of the green dot, and if it's, this way, that way, up, down, if your anchor is different, you can tell because that black dot's not centered perfectly. And it helped me out quite a bit. And the reason why I got the sight is because, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but my nose slants from born with a cleft palate and a cleft lip. So my nose, no matter what I do, cannot touch that string, just the way I was born. The only way I've been able to is my eyes then way past the peep, and it doesn't work. So I have been able to shoot fine, adjusting it to me and making it work. But I wanted, a while back, I wanted something more steady that I can be consistent with, and I got that sight, and it's worked great for me. So, anywho's, so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's my experience, something that I had happen to me and right before season, and I realized that maybe somebody gets some help out of this if, they have the same sight and have similar issues. So, yeah, hopefully you guys like that a little bit, and I'm going to shoot a handful more rounds of arrows for the night. I'm so thankful that it was my sight, and I wasn't really far off. I haven't even adjusted the sight for the arrow, like readjust the sight, just a little anchor point dot. So anyways, thank you guys for watching these videos. Hope you enjoy, and please subscribe. Thanks. Later, guys. Whew. Hot, like 90 out. But I'm gonna end on a good note. Decent little round here. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.